Howdy, folks. I'm Kurt and Davina, and you're watching GameSpot. You're watching a special segment because I'm joined by two cool cats, Alex and Eric. They are here to show you Revenge of the Savage Planet, a sequel to a game that apparently COVID has erased my brain of which it came out, but it was 2020. 2020. It was 2020.
It was 2020, not 2019 yet. It's hard. Those few years compressed.
Yes, I know. And here we are. It's coming. Time is coming back with Revenge, as is the planet that is
Indeed.
Savage. So what is your role?
I'm creative director on the project, and I was on the first game, so excited to be back.
And then we have Eric.
I'm the art director. I was on the first game too. We defined the look and what is colorful and pretty in the game.
Colorful, pretty.
Colorful, hopefully.
Purple grass.
Hopefully you like
Purple
it.
grass.
Yeah, exactly.
Also employee number one, is that right?
Yeah, from Typhoon.
Yeah.
We did the first inception
Funny
of our
story,
company.
the company history.
Yeah.
We sort of started out. We started as Typhoon, sold it to Google, came back as Raccoon Logic, but it's pretty much, the core is the same group of people now with some awesome extra folks.
With a return, but not a return.
No, a revenge.
A Revenge of the Savage Planet. So we're lucky enough to actually be able to see the game. You're playing it. Eric is hands-on with it.
Yeah.
And there's a very noticeable change for those who have played the first one.
Yeah, so it's third person this time?
Yeah, third person is the big thing. We also added character customization to go with it. One of the main reasons why we choose third person is because now we can convey physical humor with the body, which humor always be a big part of the franchise.
This run animation is fantastic.
You see, that's what I'm talking
This is how
about.
I imagine.
Yeah.
This is how I imagine I look when I run. Holy shnikes!
Yeah.
All right, you're doing good, art director. You're kicking off with it.
So the goal of the game is it's still, in the narrative of the game, if you played the first game, go down into the jungle area.
Yeah, okay.
But in the first game, basically you work for a company called Kindred Aerospace, who've since sold that company to a large multinational called Alta Interglobal. Unfortunately, on the start of your 100-year journey into cryosleep, they decided that space exploration was too expensive and too difficult, so you were made redundant. So when you start the game, you've been fired. It's your job to sort of get back your gear, survive, and explore these strange alien worlds. There's 5 planets now instead of just one, which is really cool. And we think they're bigger, better, more contiguous than anything we did on the first game. It's still filled with wonderful, wacky, weird creatures
Yeah, look at this
and all
guy.
kinds of strange things. That's our sort of totem animal.
Wow, is that what it is?
Oh, now he's going to drown. He's drowning.
Okay, cool, great. Is that the type of person?
I don't know if that one is
Oh, so this is bait.
Yeah. Well, no, you can get a can of bait. Like the idea is, we're in a sort of bright, optimistic dystopia in this game. So the world is full of advertising and weird things. So there you can see some sample drops that have landed on strange alien worlds. So it's a superfood called grob, which the player eats, but you can also use to lure other creatures.
Having played the first one,
Wash it off in the water.
and the first one that was obviously had a very
Yeah.
comedic, forward sort of personality. But I already appreciate how much you're leaning into physical comedy, like actually being able to go into third person and actually lean into that a little bit more.
Yeah, that was
Yep.
a big motivation towards moving towards third person.
Why
Because
was that?
There you go. The main reason was, like I said, like to convey more humor, and also like we realized with the first game, platforming was a big aspect of the game,
Sure.
and it's really hard to do proper platforming when you don't see your feet. So that was another big reason why we choose to go with third person, and as well as adding like more personality to the player. So we have cosmetics on the player now.
Yeah.
So you can really make it your own.
And the customization wasn't present in the first one.
Not at all.
Not at
because
all.
all you could see is your hand. So,
Yeah.
but we still had like because it was co-op.
Yeah.
We still had that third-person animation set, so you could
Sure.
see your body.
Yeah, but this time at least, wow, the water looks great.
We have underwater as well.
Yeah, it's still at its core of Metroidvania. So this version of the game, we're cheating a little bit to give you a bunch of gear early on. But the goal is, you see a lot of opportunities at the start of the game that you can't access, and you have to explore the environment, upgrade your gear, and deal with weird, strange alien threats like these guys. If you shoot these guys, they just sort of divide.
Everything's got googly eyes.
Yes, it's good. But if you switch to water, luckily you can sort of lower, melt them with it and burst them and get rid of them. So each creature has a different sort of tactic. It was a lot more systemic than it was before. So we're trying to let the player sort of solve problems the way they want.
I think on the touch of comedy, obviously narrative comedy is its own thing, but then I feel like physical comedy is a whole thing in of itself. Was there any specific inspirations for sort of when you were looking at the way your character moves? how you want this character to move and how you can convey that sort of physicality.
There's a lot of reference, like of course, like CG cartoon movies was a big inspiration, and our animation director, I think we went a lot of Looney Tune, Wile E. Coyote kind of stuff, because like
Why
that.
not?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, because
Something funny.
that thing age well, right?
Yeah.
It's always funny. Like it's old, but everybody enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Buster Keaton and like old and like silent film physical comedy, and so whenever I see that sort of emphasis, it's always like it like tickles me a little bit, just because I find that stuff.
And I think it's something that can join a lot of people. It's like it's not bound to one generation. Like
Yeah. Everybody likes a good slapstick, funny,
exactly.
a funny walk, a little funny run. So, oh my God, what is this thing? Wait. What is that? What is this?
Which
This
thing?
thing.
On the
What is
left?
this? Yeah.
So the world's filled with stuff, you know what I mean? Basically, the general arc is you can switch to this scanning mode, and you scan stuff and we'll sort of tell you what it is. A lot of the things are sort of purely decorative, and you're sort of building your Encyclopedia Britannica, so to speak. Other things, like these weird things over here, these weird sacks, which eventually will spawn into these flyers, are more aggressive sort of creatures. So if you want to know how to solve problems, you scan it. Sometimes it spawns a quest, sometimes it just spawns some information. And it's your job to sort of solve every problem the way you want. That's the idea.
When you move to third person and like you quite literally see the world differently, how is that? What sort of inspirations did you form or take when actually now getting to take away, form that world in this way, the way you see the world versus how you once saw it in first person?
I think the cool thing about third person, it gives more chance. You've mentioned it a bit, but it gives you more opportunity for physical comedy. So you can see more info. So you can see I'm covered in slime. All the slimes in the game have properties. So the green slime is slippery and also highly flammable.
Slime is a big deal.
Yeah, exactly. Always big on the slime. It's 90s inspiration. But seeing it on the character and seeing I'm being attacked is very helpful. It lets us have lots of cool outfits, as you can see as well, which is sort of neat. So it lets us platform more easily. So there's lots of upsides. There's a little bit of a loss of immediacy, and we're hoping to patch in, just avoid this guy, to patch in a first-person mode at a later date. Ideally, if we're a bigger team, there's only 30 of us. I mean, we should really emphasize that. There's only 30 people on the team. We're not a big team by any stretch. So we can't do everything all the time. Oh God, I've just lured half the world to kill me. We can't do everything all the time. I know I'll go over here.
I mean, the world looks so versatile.
There we go. I'm over here.
In the stretch of from the water to this area to now these spore little platform things and the purple and the green
we have four planets that each have a distinctive thematic to it, but within each planet, you also sub-thematic, sub-region to explore that has their own identity.
Yep.
So we wanted to add that for navigation purpose, so without checking the map. Also, we added a map this time, but without checking the map, you can know, okay, I'm in the place with the pink tree, and now I'm in the spot with the toxic swamp. So you kind of know where you are without having to
check it. But also, here, what we wanted is multiple ways to explore. So you see down here, there's sort of a toxic swamp, so filled with poison gas. If you come here early in the game, you can't process that, and you'll actually take damage, and you need to go away, find the right gear, upgrade, and then come back.
That's the sort of Metroidvania.
Exactly. You go linearly through the game in quest objectives, but you have this sort of big journal, which is full of all of the different quests you can pursue during the game, and you can do them in any order, basically, in any way that you want. So sometimes you have these sort of specific tasks you need to complete. Sometimes a person will contact you on the phone. There's a lot more characters to interact with this time. There was just Martin Tweed in the first one. This time you get hassled by Gunther Harrison, who runs Alta Interglobal, and you get all kinds of different people contacting you throughout the game. So
now, Eric, you had mentioned, for example, not having a map in the first game, and then obviously you just mentioned the idea of having more characters, more voices. What are other lessons that you learned from the first game?
We learned that for a start that people are really in the mood for, we thought, would anyone want an optimistic dystopia, so to speak, you know what I mean? Like a game where you get, I'm just going to actually let myself die here, so we can show it, there we go. So we can go back to the hotel.
Revenge.
So revenge of the splot creature. But we learned that would work, that people wanted something that was colorful and optimistic. Everything's a bit gray-brown right now. So hopefully that continues. What else do you think we got out of it?
Yep.
Yep.
No, sorry.
Yep.
Like, I was looking at the characters. So
Yep.
yeah.
We're still debugging. We're 7 weeks out from shipping, so there's stuff we're debugging. But yeah, there's still like lots of live action.
Satirical
ads.
and very goofy.
Yeah,
like-
you have your own sort of crash pad moon base this time that you can customize. There's lots of gear in here, lots of outfits that you can choose if you so desire, switching back and forth between all of those sorts of things. The computers still, and we like the idea of it being sort of like a Windows NT, Windows 95 experience. Hopefully some people remember that, but
Well, at least it's not ME.
no, exactly, that's right. But you're getting a lot of emails. Some of these emails launch quests. Some of them are from different people. There's sort of a news feed that occurs during the game. There's all kinds of different bits and pieces in there. And also probably worth mentioning, you can customize your habitat now. So if you come in here, there's all kinds of different catalog items that you can place if you so desire.
Were these things that you wanted in the first game, or just like I'm really curious in the evolution from the first game because like obviously smaller team.
Yeah.
It's stuff that we toy with the idea of doing it, but the reality of being 30, like you may get sad decision of like, oh no,
Things we have to cut.
Yeah, we have to cut. We cannot put it in. So we already have like a punch list of stuff we wanted to add for the second game.
Yeah.
That we didn't have the time to add in the first game. So we didn't have to think a lot about feature we wanted to add. Right?
I'm a big fan of the first sequel. This is a place where if you capture creatures, which you can with your lasso in this game, you can bring them back here for research purposes.
So could you?
And upgrade.
I mean, could you like capture that googly-eyed raccoon?
You can, in fact.
Or,
We can go.
No, you can't.
Oh, I can't. I don't have the whip.
You have to go fetch the whip.
Oh,
Yep.
okay. Wow.
So wait,
you can't.
I can't. You could in the game, and eventually you get this sort of sad. You end up. You start with not much, but you end up with this. It was originally the site of a colony for Alta Interglobal, but in the end they decide that, as I said, it's too difficult and expensive. So
they never sent anybody.
No, you just end up with these sad, empty locations that no one lives
This
in.
kind of looks like a place I wouldn't mind retiring.
There you go. Well,
Like,
you're gonna,
with the pink flamingos in the front lawn and
It's
some
a
cardboard
space trailer
boxes.
park.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
this looks like
It's charming. It's New
Yeah.
Florida.
yeah.
Show the sign.
Oh yeah, where is it? Where's the sign over this?
This one, yeah, right there.
There we go. You're welcome
Oh,
to
it
Florida.
quite literally is New Florida.
Yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
all right.
And then you can see it's population 1 because you're the only one there.
All right. I mean, I made a joke about it, like this looks like where I want to die because that's where most people go to die.
Exactly.
It's Florida, so this makes perfect sense.
God's waiting room, we call it.
Oh, really? I mean, yeah, exactly. Just limbo or purgatory until you're done. There was so you can capture raccoons.
Yep.
Maybe you can't.
You can capture
eventually-
you can capture any creature in the game except the bosses, but you need a whip. So at this point, if I wanted to do that, I could.
Oh my God! What happened to that guy?
Oh, hang on. So see again, here we
more
go.
slime.
Hang on, I don't think we have that.
How much does the world interact with each other like that?
It's pretty systemic.
Yeah,
like the idea is that all the creatures generate, the different types of goo. You can use the different kinds of there's conductive goo if what you wanted to do was like sort of power up something electrical. There's sort of a lava hot
You
sauce
spew the goo all over it.
Exactly. So if we go, hang on, let's see what do we got?
Yeah,
There we go.
it could equip the lava goo.
Lava goo. There we go.
Yeah,
So there's stuff like this.
especially on those guys.
Yeah, let's light these guys up for you.
Yeah, show it.
So it's highly flammable.
All right.
So they act like little goo fuses, if you imagine that sort of stuff. So you can light up any bit of that sort of stuff. And the whole world is pretty systemic. Like so, there's just an ingredient here which is like a bounce pad. You might remember this from the first game, and it was sort of a one-off. In this one now, it grows. So if you want to get to certain areas, you can sort of build up the bounce from that, and eventually like launch yourself up to getting some goo that you might need. There you go. And you're still expanding your health and stamina by collecting all that sort of stuff.
Putting goo.
Yeah, by bathing
More
yourself
goo.
in strange alien substances.
Now, there's one really obvious question I didn't ask.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it revenge?
Well, like we said, in the first game, you were working for Kindred Aerospace. Your company was sold to a large multinational.
You get laid off.
You get laid off, and so now, we'd say it's time to get your own back. Like, we, like many people, suffered through the pandemic with layoffs, and we thought not enough games sort of play with that real world context.
Right.
So it was kind of an inspiration for us to sort of lean into that and have our character suffer the same indignities that we had.
And again, it's a positive spin on a sort of dystopia. But
It is. It's making the best of a bad loss.
Yeah, yeah, and it might hit close to home, but maybe hopefully cathartic for some of us and
Exactly.
who have to deal with that.
Exactly.
And I know for one that I would love to have a funny run.
Yes.
In the big world. I wouldn't want to kick a raccoon with googly eyes, but I mean, maybe if it provoked me.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe you might not like the look of his. You like the look of him.
Yeah, I know. If it was a what's those things? I don't like them. They're like long rodents.
Oh, the centipedes or millipedes.
No.
Capybara?
No, they're fatties. It's you mean?
It's a hairy thing.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Can't remember.
Doesn't matter. All I know is if it's one of those, if anybody knows what I'm talking
Set him on
about,
fire.
that thing in the ozone layer.
Let's clear this lava as well. So you can get the water out and you can fix the lava if that's a hazard you don't want to deal with, or you could create a trap. So.
Ferret.
Ferret. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
If anybody's
stink.
If anybody's a ferret owner of one of you two, I'm sorry. Anybody who's watching, I'm sorry. If you put those in the games, I will pump those things. I will gladly have a filter where it's like, I don't want to kick the raccoons, but I'll kick the ferrets. Not that, it probably says more about me. I probably have some sort of psychological.
No, makes sense to me.
Okay, good. But if it's a possum, I love those.
Possums are cute.
Yeah, they're great. They're very cute. What are the things what do you it's so interesting because looking at this feels like a very natural evolution to the first game, in a way from you're quite literally taking it from first to third. It's very interesting to hear you want to add a first-person mode eventually. But what is it from players and things that you saw people doing in the world that you were able to kind of take and apply to now what is a series?
We like the idea. We saw the systemic sort of elements of the first one, which was very light, and as I said, is hopefully deeper here. But we saw people sort of playing with the environment. We didn't like the idea of making a button tunnel where everyone was just going forward, watching cinematics, solving a very set sort of puzzle. We wanted people to solve the puzzle in their own way. So I've got these green guys again.
I love their wobble.
Yeah.
There's so much physical comedy in how they move.
So we wanted people to play with the game as much as possible. So not so much just trying to solve it, sort of in the way we design, but finding their own solution to those problems.
Do you feel like over the past since 2020, since the release of the first game, now in 2025, Jesus Christ, and the COVID, how have you seen games change in that time? And has there been anything that has happened in that period that has kind of you've adapted or learned from?
I mean, it's getting harder and harder to break through the noise. With subscription services and sort of these forever games, it's hard to get people's attention. So what we're trying to do is stick with strong flavors and make something that's really unique and special and fresh. That people can play that isn't just a cheaper version of a bigger game. We really want to value people's time as well. This isn't a sort of a microtransaction filled experience. It's something where hopefully people get value for money. Hopefully they play it, they love it, they come back to it periodically, but it's something that's deeply finishable. And probably the biggest bit is that it's also in two-player co-op. So basically you can, your best friend, your kid, your partner, you can play. We're supporting crossplay, we're supporting split screen.
That's awesome.
So we're trying to we've been joking, but bring back the golden age of gaming, which was when I could sit on the couch with a buddy and play a game and eat a pizza. You know what I mean? That's the goal.
Yeah. Eric, how about you?
It was exactly that. The split screen co-op for me was a big add because it adds that nostalgia of playing with your best buddy. And since it's a funny game, I hope people will have fun together, just poking the world around and making more chaos than alone.
How does that work? Creating a game with 5 worlds that are big and expansive, it's Metroidvania, so obviously skills and tools and all these things will be necessary to progress. How have you found that balance in maybe something like a split screen co-op kind of experience?
There's no quick answer. It's a lot of our staff have a lot of years of experience, so we kind of knew the thing to not do and kind of the best practice to it, and we kind of have a template that we could scale to different planet, and now the only thing we could add is a different thematic to it, but the base, it's the same way of doing it for the 5 player.
Sure.
I've done a bad thing. I found a big one.
Let it rip. This will be our concluding moment.
I don't want to get eaten. No. I don't want to finish
Run. You're not ready for this.
I know. I don't have
Are you sure?
I don't have the right gear. I can
Come
try.
on.
I could try.
You can do it.
No, he missed me.
What do you need for this guy?
Well,
you need
I
to
did the
scan
whip.
it actually.
Yeah, exactly. I did scan him, but I need the whip to sort of stun him. Some of these creatures, they have weak spots that you need to hit. So this guy, I'll cheat all these weak spots in his mouth.
You can do it. You can do it. You don't need no whip.
Well, I can't. Oh, he's gonna.
Look at you.
No,
You're doing
he's gonna
great.
kill me. No, I'm doing very badly. Hang on. They're right there when he opens his
very
mouth.
good.
You've got to shoot him, but I think that's it for me. There we go.
Well,
You're dead.
Something for players to experience.
Revenge of the Savage Planet.
Yeah, the revenge was sweet.
As we wrap this up, what is kind of a parting sort of thing? What is the one thing that you kind of really want to make sure people get?
Yeah, I think I mentioned it before, but that idea that you can, sitting down with your kid, your partner, your best friend, and playing on the couch and a pizza. That's what I really hope. I hope people play it with a friend.
A funny game.
And have fun and a funny game, and not take it. That doesn't take itself so seriously.
Yeah. What's your single favorite creature in the game
that
you can talk about?
That I cannot talk about.
You can talk about it.
Yeah. It's the. Is it the Babbitt?
The Babbitt has an ass for a face.
Yeah.
Okay, I was getting ready to be like the ferret. And I was gonna be like,
we actually got into trouble on the box. Like, this is how sometimes childish our business is. But the ESRB gave us a higher rating because the creature on the cover had what looked like a butt for a face.
and they're like, we can't do it.
We can't do it. They're like, that's our.
But we do have a face.
Yeah, in the game, we just can't put it on the box.
On the cover. That's a shame. How silly advertising.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, thank you so much for
Thank
being
you so much.
here. It was a huge play. Alex.
Yep.
Eric.
Yes.
That was also 7 weeks from this recording.
7 weeks, yeah. So we're out May 5th on PlayStation, Xbox, PC. Hopefully, maybe if the Switch 2 exists, I don't know. I've heard rumors. Eventually, we'll be coming on that, but not at launch. So hopefully.
All right, well, good to know. You've heard it here first at GameSpot. I'm Kurt and Davina. Thank you all for watching. This was Revenge of the Savage Planet. See you later. Stay tuned.